Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LeTip Live. Here at LeTip, we are a select group of business owners and like-minded individuals brought together to help each other grow each other's businesses. And today we have a special treat for you. My partner in crime, Brian, is going to be interviewing John Monroe of AAG. And it looks like we froze here for a second. Oh, we're good. We're back online. Okay. And so I'm just here to kind of man the station, but you guys are going to get rocking and rolling. So without further ado, I'm going to turn over to Brian Hansley.
How's it going, everybody? People of LeTip, specifically, LeTip Hackensack. Here we have a great member, John Monroe. We do our visitations a little differently here at Undefeated Media, the company in which I and Doug represent. Our visitations are a little different here. We do it live in our studio here at Undefeated Media Studios in Wyckoff, New Jersey. And we give opportunities to showcase your business, give a little bit background on you, as well as, just being able to speak candidly and have a good time. So, John, welcome. Thank you for coming to the studio. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I guess this eliminates the need for a selfie.
Yes.
So there you go.
This is our
Get
proof
that,
right
get
here.
that out of the way right
Thank
at the
God.
top.
That's not my forte.
So there you go.
I shoot
The most difficult thing is when I'm on with my phone.
Yeah.
And I realize that my selfie is actually on the phone and I can't do it.
Right.
I tried holding up a stick figure paint drawing one time, and Craig was not all that pleased about that. But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
So thanks for coming. Why don't you start off with a little bit of what it is you do?
Sure. I've been a member of LeTip now for 12 years. So I've been quite a bit. And it's one thing about our chapter is we have an unbelievably dynamic chapter, which I'm very, very proud to be a part of. And since the inception, what I do is something really, really unique. I am a reverse mortgage expert. I deal with seniors age 62 years of age or older, and I help them live better lives by letting them access the equity in their home to actually pay for things, to pay for their expenses, to pay for their medical supplies, or really pretty much do whatever it is they need to do. When I came aboard, I do not do residential loans. That's done by our president, Craig Andrewley, but I do handle this very, very unique product. And in doing it for as long as I have been doing it, I've become, I just know everything about the product, all the ins and outs, and I can answer anyone's questions about it. I explain it warts and all, and I go over the process in detail. I'm a member of the Alliance for Senior Services. I also work hand in hand with the Bergen County Division of Senior Services. So I've built my business on being an advocate for seniors. And that's really, how I go about my job. It's no more than just getting someone a loan. I sit down with my borrowers. I analyze what their needs and goals are and tailor a plan specifically for that. What is it they need? Do they need money for a home health aid coming in? Do they need money to pay their medical expenses? Or do they just need extra money because it's so ridiculously expensive to live in northern New Jersey? And then, like I say, I can tailor a plan to meet those specific needs.
Awesome.
That was a great in-depth explanation. Yes. I couldn't have asked for a better answer.
Absolutely. Honestly. While you're thinking of your next question, Brian, I do want to remind everyone at home that we are live. So if you have a question, comment, or concern, you can please put it in the comments section and we can answer it live. I'm sure there's plenty in-depth questions. Now's your chance to get them answered by the one and only John Monroe.
Well, we'll do our best.
Yeah, I know me and Doug, we were just at Bond Street working with Craig, and I learned a little thing or two. I know that equity in homes are higher than really they've ever been.
We're at a really unique position right now where home prices are higher than they've ever been, and interest rates are at an absolute rock bottom.
Right.
So I deal with a lot of seniors who are, somewhat nervous, somewhat squeamish about doing this and trying to wait for the proper time to do it. Mm-hmm. Now is the proper time. It has never, ever been a better time because I can get you more money and the interest rate you're being charged has never, ever been lower.
Right.
And a lot of people say, what is a reverse mortgage? Unfortunately, the reverse mortgage comes with a lot of baggage, and a lot of what I do is education. Mm-hmm. Usually the first half an hour of sitting down with someone at their kitchen table is going over the myths and, all the things that they've ever heard. the first thing I usually heard is, "Oh, my hairdresser told me don't do this because they're going to take your house." They have a very butch hairdresser, but it's not true. We don't take the house. We're not in the real estate business. I don't want your house.
Mhm.
All it is a loan, and really all it is a home equity line of credit. It's really nothing more than that, but it's a very, very special type of home equity line of credit, only available to seniors age 62 years of age or older. And as I said, what it does, it allows them to use the equity in their home to stay in their home. The benefits of it are, number one, a very low rate of interest. We're talking about interest rates under 3% right now, but more importantly, no payments. That's right. This is a loan that, as long as the senior, either one of them, is living in their home, this is a loan that they never have to pay back.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I mean, it's crazy, but I mean, basically what's happening is interest is charged. It's not like it's an interest-free loan. Interest is charged and it's added to the loan balance. And then the loan balance becomes due when they no longer live in the home. Either they've sold the home, because you can sell the home anytime you want to. Again, we don't take the home. We don't put our name on title. You can sell it anytime you want to. You can will it to whomever you want, or the last of them passes away. And then when they pass away and the heirs sell the home, then the loan gets paid back pretty much just like any other mortgage. If you were to sell your home, you have to pay off your mortgage. So it really works that way.
So question I got for you is, if we're viewing houses, especially in the seller's market right now, where inflation in the houses market has gone up, right? Like everyone's selling a home. Now, if you do this now and then house value goes down, does that affect anything?
That's a great question. No. As a matter of fact, once you do this, you pretty much never have to worry about the price of your home ever again. If home prices go down, then you are completely protected. The loan will not be called. The line of credit will not be frozen, unlike the mortgage crash of 2008, when home prices fell drastically and banks froze people's lines of credit. That cannot happen in this loan. Now, the question is, what if the inverse happens and home prices continue to rise? Well, if it rises up large enough, you can redo your reverse mortgage and I can pull out more money for you. So for the senior, it's a win-win situation. If home prices go down, you don't have to worry about it. If home prices goes up, well, then we can redo your reverse mortgage.
So based on the current climate, now would be a good time to do it, since your house was probably it was worth more than ever before.
We have seen since the mortgage crash of 2008, where prices, particularly in North Jersey, fell by an average of 17 to 21%. Over the last 2 years, since COVID, we have seen an unprecedented rise in home prices. The reason for it, like every other capitalistic thing, supply and demand. There's not that supply, and there's an incredible amount of demand. People are fleeing New York City in droves when COVID hit, and everybody wants to come to New Jersey, and there just aren't enough houses. In my town alone, we've had an open house where you see people around the block trying to get into an open house. So that affects home prices. And yes, home prices are higher than they've ever been before. Does this mean there's going to be another bubble burst? Signs say that there could be. When that's going to happen, I can't particularly tell. So yes, now is probably the best time to, look into doing a loan like this.
Right. So, I mean, if now is the best time, and like you said, a lot of your time spent in the beginning with a potential client would be explaining what the process is. What's one thing that you would tell somebody right now that's potentially looking into working toward a reverse mortgage? What's one thing you would tell them that you think is the most important thing to know first?
The most important, well, I don't know if it's the most important, but one thing I really try and emphasize is don't wait. Unfortunately, when we're dealing with your parents, or even, parents that are even slightly even older than that.
Right.
They don't want to be a burden to anyone. I'm not going to bother my son. I don't have any money. You know what? Don't worry about it. And they put their head in the sand and they don't worry about it until the taxes aren't paid. And they get that letter in the mail that there's going to be a tax sale or something like that. If you wait that long, it becomes that much harder for me to do my job. Can I get you the loan? Yeah, but there's going to be a lot of hurdles and hoops to jump through. basically call me before the crisis hits. Call me before your credit goes to hell because you're not paying your taxes or you're not paying your bills. Chances are I may not be able to do the loan because of that. But if I catch it early, I can help you out. Now, I'm happy to talk to anybody about this. I'm happy to draw proposals free of charge. I'm happy to sit down with people with no obligation, to sit down with them. And like I say, find out exactly what their pain points are. What's the thing that's making them look into this? So I don't want anyone to fear that, oh my goodness, if I call you up, then I'm going to have to start signing papers. You don't have to do that. We'll sit down, we'll have a conversation, and we'll see if it's right for you. I'm a big believer in the product. I've been doing it for 12 years. And I know, is it right for everyone? No, it's not. And there are people that will never, ever need a loan like this. I also know people who don't need a loan like this, but I deal with a lot of certified financial planners, and they use the reverse mortgage as part of an overall retirement package.
Right.
So there's lots of ways. This is more than just a loan of last resort. There's lots of ways you can make this work, and there's lots of ways that this can be very, very beneficial to you. And all you have to do is have a conversation with me, and I'll explain that all to you.
So piggybacking off Brian's question, is there anything that you want them to gather or collect before, like, to bring to you? Like, do you want them to get their credit score, pay stub? Is there anything that they need to do before calling you?
Nothing.
Cool.
Nothing. I will handle everything. The initial call is just the initial conversation, the initial sit down, like I say, is really, really informal. I don't want to put pressure on anyone to do anything. I just want them to have a conversation with me. And more importantly than anything else, the biggest part of what I do is explaining the product, because it is such a unique product.
Right.
The loan becomes due when either you sell the home, you pass away, or you don't live there because you have to be the owner operator of the house. The way it works, the fact that, the appraiser is going to come in and do an appraisal, and I have to explain, even what that's all about. So a lot of what I do is explaining the features, and a reverse mortgage has some really, really unique features that make it different than any kind of loan that's out there. I think the greatest hidden secret of the reverse mortgage, the thing that nobody ever talks about, Fred Thompson and Fonzie, they don't talk about this. But the thing that's really unique is the bucket of money that that's available for you to use. The amount of money that I can get you in the loan will actually grow. It will actually increase in value, right? If you go down to the bank and you get a home equity line of credit, that thing's not increasing with you. You've got a period of time when you can draw from it, and then that's it, and you have to pay it back. That's not the way a reverse mortgage works. And the fact that the amount of money that I'm able to get for you will increase in value is really, really unique. And the fact that everything in the reverse mortgage is tax-free. It doesn't affect your Social Security. It doesn't affect your Medicare. It doesn't affect any prescription pad programs you may be on, any PSE&G programs. You never have to report any of this on your income tax because none of this is income. It's loan proceeds. So that's very, very unique. But I think the biggest, most unique thing about the reverse mortgage, and the thing that makes a reverse mortgage fundamentally different than a 30-year fixed or even a home equity line of credit, is in a reverse mortgage, there's a guarantee from the federal government that says that you can never be underwater on your home. What do I mean by that? That means that, take the 2008 mortgage crash again. Because as you know, we've done absolutely nothing to prevent it from happening again. Like I like to tell people, Martha Stewart has spent more time in jail for financial impropriety than the people who almost destroyed our financial system. And let's say it happens again, and your home, which is worth $550,000, is now suddenly worth $450,000. You wake up one morning. Again, will the loan be called? No. Will your line of credit be called? No. Can you continue to use the money? Yes. And if you use all the money and you live in the home for another 25 years and you never make any payments and the loan balance grows and the interest charges grow, and at the end, when you pass away and your heirs get a statement in the mail saying, okay, you owe $600,000. They go, oh my goodness, I guess we better sell the home to pay the loan. And the best offer they get is $500,000. We will not send a bill to your heirs. We will not go after your estate. The bank gets the difference from the federal government. So you can never owe more your house is worth, no matter what your house is worth at the time. And for seniors, that's sleep-filled nights, knowing they're never going to leave anybody with a debt. That is their biggest fear, that their life is such a mess that they have to now leave their kids with a debt. That is their biggest fear, and they're never going to have to do it. And that's a guarantee by the federal government to do it. And that's what makes the reverse mortgage so unique.
I mean, I think you just proved it right there. Like, now's the time.
Well, now's the time if you were ever thinking about it. If you were sitting here and, let's face it, with the raise of inflation of 7% just in the month of December. I mean, I do the shopping for my house. I don't know if you do that, but I do it not because of any other reason than I'm incredibly cheap. I don't want to take control of the family budget. And I noticed that every single thing in the store is up by 50 cents. Everything. Things that used to be $1.09 are now $2.49. It's every single thing. Now, if you're a senior, that's going to hit you hard. A 7% inflation raise like that on just your groceries is really going to hit you hard. So you should really start to think about the money that I have, and is it going to last me the rest of our lives? People are living longer, and I don't think people are prepared to live as long as they are.
That's an interesting point.
And what I like to say to people, as I say, I understand it's your house. I understand there's this emotional attachment because it's your house. It's where you raised your kids. But since we've been in high school, the one thing we've always heard is the biggest investment you'll ever make in your life is your home. This is a way for that investment to pay them off. These are people who bought their homes for $18,000 and now they're worth $318,000. That's $300,000 of equity that's in the walls. These are people that are house rich and cash poor. This is just a way of that investment to pay you back. I can say, if this were a bond, would you think twice about selling it and using that money? Well, this is a way that you can stay in your home and use the money. Because the other option, when I sit down with people and, they just don't want to do this for whatever reason, the next question is, well, tell me about your options then. What are your options? Your options would be to downsize, which means selling your house. I say, how long have you lived in this house? 40 years. Are you really prepared? You were talking to me about your mother and your mother's basement. Are you really prepared to go down in that basement and clean it out?
No.
And then you're going to have to buy a home or rent. If you rent anywhere in Bergen County, you're not going to touch anything livable for under $2,500 a month. It's cheaper to stay in your home. And then the last thing is, as I said, I'm an advocate for seniors. I attend a lot of seminars. I've gone to seminars, lots of elder care attorneys, lots of doctors, lots of social workers. And the one thing, which is a proven fact because they've done studies on this, is that aging in place is a real thing. People lead better lives and have more comfortable deaths. I hate to say it, but it's a reality. When you age in place, people like to be in familiar surroundings. I had one guy say to me point blank, he said, John, I go into the kitchen, I open the drawer, and there are the scissors. Why do I have to go someplace where I don't know where the scissors are? And that may sound funny, but it's a real fear.
Sure.
I mean, you guys are still young. Wait until you start forgetting things. I mean, it is a frightening thing. And people like to be where they are. I had an appointment with somebody yesterday. Lovely, lovely woman who unfortunately is in the outset of ALS, which, man, there's nothing more horrible, more heartbreaking than that.
Right.
And, they now have to make a decision. What is it they want to do? And I said, what is it that you really, really, really want to do? And they said, I want to stay here. So, well, I can make that happen.
Yeah.
I can make that happen. It's because all paying for AIDS. And, a lot of people don't know this. We're a member of what they call the sandwich generation. And what that means is we are expected to take care of our parents. No one ever told us this, but we are expected to take care of our parents. And dealing with the Bergen County Division of Senior Services, a lot of what I do is what's known as families in crisis. Mom or dad's had a fall, mom or dad's had dementia, and all of a sudden the kids have to step in and they don't know. They don't have the first clue what to do. They have their own lives, their own children's, their own mortgages, their own houses, but now they've got to take care of mom and dad. And if you need an aide to come in, even if it's private pay, even if it's somebody that you know, if you have somebody coming in, 5 to 6 to 7 days a week, it's $5 to $6 grand a month easily. You can get the nicest aide in the world who's going to fix your meals or whatever. It's still $5 to $6 grand a month. That's $60,000 to $72,000 a year. Where's that money coming from? Medicare only pays for the first 120 days. Some churches there's some charity organizations who will do, 10 hours a week. If you need someone coming in 40 hours a week, you're going to have to pay for that. I can step in. I can get them the money. I can put together a plan to have that money dispersed on a monthly basis. If they need other services, I have a network of people I can hook them up with, whether they need an elder care attorney, someone to do their bills, someone to come in and be a social worker. I'm in the best networking group in Bergen County, and I can do all of those services. Do you need a handyman to retrofit your bathroom? I can do all of that. I can make those recommendations. So that's why I say I've always built my business on being a full advocate for seniors.
Wow.
Fantastic. And not only do I say that, but Anne-Marie's chiming in. She says fantastic as well.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.
Thank you
very much, Anne-Marie. You get a clap for that.
So I do want to remind you, everybody at home, that we are live. So if you want to, make a comment like Anne-Marie right here, or you have a question, please put it in the comments section and we can answer it live.
So I recently came over to AAG. I was with actually Bond Street Mortgage for the last 5 years. And I made the move over to AAG for a couple of reasons. And first of which is they recruited me, which is nice. And they are the nation's largest reverse mortgage company. If you've ever seen the Tom Selleck commercials on TV, that's who we are. And how effective are those ads? AAG gets 47,000 calls a month.
Wow.
Okay. Now, sure, a lot of them are tire kickers, whatever, but there's that much interest in the product and people wanting to find out how it works. So I get referred to calls in New Jersey, and I'll sit down and I'll talk with people. But the other thing is this: the generation that I'm dealing with right now, the people who are in their 70s and 80s, for the most part, are kind of okay financially. They don't have very much debt. Most of them don't have mortgages. Many of them still have pensions to go along with their Social Security. The biggest fear is the generation behind them, basically my generation, who have refinanced their home 5, 6, 7 times to deal with the rates. Every time the rate changes, they refinance. And when you do that in a 30-year fix, the clock goes back to zero. So now they still have big balances on their mortgages, no pensions, because no one has pensions anymore, and not very much savings. So in the next decade, you are going to see a retirement crisis in this country like you cannot believe. And you're absolutely going to have to look at your home equity as part of your retirement at that point. AAG has recognized that and is working hard right now on brand new products to bring to the market to help with people who ordinarily will not be able to qualify for a reverse mortgage. And I said, wow, that's great forward thinking. I can see this, and I can see myself being a part of this solution, working with financial planners, working with CPAs to help people in the upcoming 10 years.
Wow. So what would be an ideal referral for you?
Obviously, any senior. If you have an uncle, if you have a mother, if you have anybody who, complains when you get together with them, and they all complain, the price of beans is too high. But, are they doing without things? Are they missing their medication because they can't afford it? Have they had a fall? Do they need aides to come in? Or have they heard about this and they just want to discuss it? So yes, give me their name and number. Let me talk to them. Give me a call. My telephone number is 201-470-8112. And I will be happy to have this discussion. I'd be happy to draw proposals free of charge. But also, I want to talk to people who are influence makers. And who would those be in charge of financial products? The biggest one is bank managers and people who work at actual banks, because people, they get in crisis. If they don't have a financial planner, don't have a CPA, they say, let's go talk to Mary down at the bank. So yes, most banks don't do reverse mortgages. When I started in this business, I worked for Wells Fargo, and then I worked for Bank of America. They both got out of the business. Most major banks do not do reverse mortgages. Some do, most don't. They'll be happy to talk to me because I'm not stealing their customers.
Mhm.
We are not a depository institution. I am not stealing your customer. In fact, I am giving them money to put into your bank.
Right.
So you keep your customer and you provided them with a service. If you don't provide them with a service, they'll go somewhere else and you may lose that customer. So yes, bank managers are good. Financial planners, a warm introduction to a financial planner is great. Attorneys, elder care attorneys, real estate attorneys, those are all wonderful, wonderful leads for me. Warm introduction to them is great. I can sit down with them. I can explain to them how I do business. I am very, very transparent. I will keep people as involved or as not involved as they want to. When I sit down to have meetings with people, I'll meet with everyone. I'll meet with your children. I'll meet with your minister. I'll meet with your accountant, because like I said, I believe in this product and I am a believer in full transparency.
So we do want to make sure people at home got that number. So what was that number one more time?
It is 201-470-8112, 8112.
And you'll see that now on the screen here. So you guys could take that down if you want to get in contact with John Monroe from AAG. There you go.
And last but not least, let me also say that in addition to reverse mortgages,
Yes.
I do commercial mortgages as well.
Nice.
I got into that because it wasn't residential, and it's kind of the same skill set where you have to be really, really into the details. So I do all kinds of commercial mortgages, mixed use, commercial buildings, financing. And the nice thing about what I can do is I can do commercial mortgages for people where every other bank says no.
Mm-hmm.
And a big one of that has to do with like gas stations, auto dealerships. I can do auto dealer financing. But yes, if you're thinking about buying or refinancing any kind of commercial property, you can do it. I just did a $12 million loan in Patterson for a medical office complex. And I did a $400,000 purchase for someone who bought something just down the road here in Hawthorne. So I do all types of commercial loans as well. And even SBA loans. I do those as well, which again is a lot of attention to detail to those, but I can do those for people as well. And what SBA loans are for owner operators of business who occupy more than 51% of the square footage of a building and want to buy a building for their business. I can step in, and there's a lot of advantages to SBA loans. The biggest advantage is that you're involving the government, so there's a heck of a lot of paperwork.
Nice.
So
we might need a new studio space.
well,
so
there you go. The time
new building,
comes,
new
I
building.
can probably help you out with that. I know it, so.
We do want to remind you guys at home that we are live. If you have a question, comment, concern, please put it in the comments section so we can answer it live. What else you got, B-Rock?
I mean, it's clear that you're passionate and you know your stuff. And I mean, being in one of the greatest networking groups, there's plenty of assets alongside your knowledge with reverse mortgages. You also know if there's something you want to do to your house, you can hook them up with the right people.
I went around to a bunch of different when I got into this business. And when I got into this business 12 years ago, it was, I came from a completely different line of work altogether. I mean, not even close. And what happened was I was in one of the businesses that the internet just wiped out. It wasn't like I could go to another company and do like that job just did not exist on the face of the earth anymore. And I had to reinvent myself. And someone said to me, you'll be great for this. You enjoy, talking to people one-on-one, and you have a lot of empathy, and at the end of the day, you'll look yourself in the mirror and say, I've made a fundamental difference in people's lives. And that is something that I do. I become part of the family to a lot of these people. I really become intimately involved, and people still call me up on the holidays, customers, and wish me. But I shopped around. I didn't shop around, but I went around to a lot of different networking groups. So the first thing I was told is go get in a networking group. So I went around to a lot of different networking groups, and I was very, very fortunate to find LeTip of Hackensack. LeTip of Hackensack is, I think, by far, especially now after what's happened in the last 2 years with COVID, it's not easy to keep a networking group. We've all heard of networking groups that have just died during COVID, and we are still as strong as we've ever been and looking to grow and thrive. And yes, a lot of it has to do with the leadership. When I got there, it was, Sheldon Neal, and now it's Craig Andrewley, who is our president, and they have driven this company. And Eric Garcia, our membership chair, says every day, think about this group for 15 minutes a day. And I'm always trying to get, members to come in and join. But to your question, that's absolutely correct. Not only have I received tips from people and leads from people, but I have been able to turn around and do a lot of things which you ordinarily wouldn't ask people to do. And our LeTip membership has been overwhelmingly, responsive, to mold remediation, to getting roofs done, to handiwork, to, the legal work, or, investments, or just everything across the board. I know that I can turn to my LeTip family for advice more than just, oh, here's a deal, or, insurance people, and they will work with me. They realize that I'm dealing with a senior. They realize I'm dealing with a senior who doesn't have two red nickels to rub together. And, the loan will get closed and everybody gets paid, and, just able to get things done. And I really owe a huge debt of gratitude to the members of my LeTip chapter. And if you're watching, very soon we're going to be back live. I really, really urge you. It's free of charge. Come to a meeting, come get a free breakfast, and meet the people. The people are quality people. They're nice people. And we are like a family. We really are. It's really nice that I can pick up a phone right now and, call somebody up about my car, and they'll answer my question and get back to me if I have to. It's just things like that. Yeah. So I owe a lot to the LeTip Hackensack. So much so that I was with a couple of other, networking groups, and this is the one I said, no, this is the one I have to stay with.
Awesome stuff.
I mean, how do you feel? Has it been good for you guys?
Absolutely. We get to meet people like you. We get to do this that we love to do. And you're dead on. It is just like a family. At a moment's notice, if you need help or you have a question for someone, you have someone right on the other line.
And the Zoom meetings would not be as good if it weren't for you guys. So,
thank you.
Big round of applause.
Thank you. Yeah, we're doing our part. We're doing what we can. We're doing what we can. And then that's the reason why we're doing these for our visitations.
I think this is wonderful. I think this is absolutely great, and I appreciate you doing this, because I don't really get a chance to really explain such a difficult process, such a difficult, there are times when I'll be sitting with a senior at the kitchen table, and I'll be going over all of this, and I look and the eyes just glaze over. So that's when I pull out my salesman hat and I look at their refrigerator and I say, oh, those are your grandchildren, and I start to get them engaged and try and do that, because this is a lot to bite off. It is a lot to chew. And I want them to make sure that they understand all the process. So do I have a good dog and pony show? I've been doing this for 12 years. I can, but I do try and make them understand what it is. And like I said, I love answering questions. That's the best way I can get things across. Ask me a million questions. I can answer any question that you have.
Absolutely. Now's your chance to put in the comments section. We can answer it live. But that touch base on too. We only have so much time in the morning meetings. This gives us a nice opportunity for you to really go in depth, explain what you do, how you do it. And, going along with, what we do here, now you have this video, which we hope our members will watch and share with their friends and family so they can get to know you.
Oh, sure. I'm
better as well.
going to put it up on my business page if you'll give me the thing. So we'll do all that.
Yeah. So we are live right now on Facebook and YouTube. We're coming down to the wire, guys. If you do have a question, please put it in the comments section. What else you got, B-Rock? Anything else? Any other questions?
I mean, I know we always do those little fun questions toward the end. So I guess,
Well, while we're on the topic, before you go to fun questions, there's one question. You kind of touched based upon it. You kind of hit it on the nail, but we just want to ask you officially, bless you. And the one question I always ask everyone is, what does LeTip mean to you?
Again, LeTip is more than just a networking group for me. It is a source. It is a source that I can go to get answers to things. It is, or help, where I can go to get help. And the thing is more than anything else, one of the really good things about LeTip and Hackensack is, yes, it's a networking group, but we also have some incredibly quality people there. I mean, when you look at someone like Sheldon Neal, who is, top 10 in New Jersey. I think he's number 2 in Bergen County for what he does. Okay. Mm-hmm. You think he has time to answer my phone call when I got to call him up about an MLS listing? Do you think it would be very easy for him to blow me off? But does he take my call, and does he go out of his way to help me? Yes. Craig Andrewley is, talking about being top 10 in the country for what he does. Mm-hmm. Will he take the time out to answer anyone at LeTip's questions if they have to answer? But yes. And that goes down the line for every Mark Ban, Matt Libyan, who has been incredibly generous. He is Matt Libyan. We often call him the Babe Ruth of networking. That's his nickname because he networks with everyone in New Jersey, is incredibly generous with his time, with his Rolodex, with his knowledge. And this just goes down the line for every single person at LeTip that will go out of their way to help you, even if it doesn't help them. Mm-hmm. And that, I think, is the beauty of our group and what we do.
That's what it's all about. Love it. What else you got, B-Rock? You want to go to the fun stuff?
Are we going to the fun stuff?
You want to go to the fun stuff? Do you want a timer? You want the ticket clock?
I mean, it's not necessarily...
Go ahead. Was it lightning round?
Yeah, you want a lightning round?
Let's go ahead.
So we're going to do a lightning round. Okay. We'll put the clock on for you. And these are just fun questions.
Sure.
That Brian's going to rapid fire hit you with. Mm-hmm. Give me 1 second. And away we go.
All right. We're going to start off easy with a favorite food.
I don't know. Probably pizza. I don't know. It would be, or eggs. Believe it or not, I love eggs. Eggs Benedict.
Yeah. Oh. Ooh,
there's so many ways you can do it.
Yeah,
I mean, tired of it.
Yeah, so only problem is you can't eat them 3 times a day or you'll die. So that's a problem there. So yeah, go ahead.
All right, we got favorite movie.
I have 2.
Okay.
My 2 favorite movies of all time. Number one is the original version of The Producers with Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder. It's my favorite movie of all time. I could recite the whole movie to you line by line. And the other one is Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Those are my 2 favorite movies. Nice.
All right. Music. What kind of music? Favorite artist?
I love all kinds of music. And when I say all, I mean all kinds of music. Mm-hmm. People always ask me what my favorite group is, and it changes. I go through periods of time where I listen to things and I completely immerse myself in them, where I will, like, for instance, I recently went through a thing where I was listening to Hank Williams, and I listened to 20 Hank Williams records. And for a month, that's all I'll listen to is Hank Williams. I went through a period of 2 years where I listened to nothing but blues. And when I say blues, I don't mean like B.B. King. I mean like Alan Lomax field recordings. And I went through that for a long time. So it goes through a period.
Sure.
But I love this. I love the stuff that everybody loves: Beatles, Stones, Who. But I also am a real punk rocker. So Buzzcocks, probably my favorite group.
Awesome. So I mean, this is going based on music. What was your first concert, and what was your best concert you've ever been to?
I've been to too many concerts to say best. I have great memories. My first concert, believe it or not, was the Beach Boys.
Oh wow!
At Giant Stadium.
Awesome.
Beach Boys, Steve Miller, Procol Harum, not Procol Harum. God, I wish it was Procol Harum. Pablo Cruz. And it was a terrible concert, but that's beside the point. My best concert, I've been to too many.
First one that comes to mind when you think great concert.
You got a time machine. You're going
I saw probably the Dandy Warhols. Was a transcendent experience when I saw them. So okay.
Doug, you got any?
TV show? Anything you're watching? TV show?
I watch. I love binge watching. Who doesn't love binge watching, right? Why didn't they have this a long time ago? You can just go and in a weekend knock out an entire series.
Exactly.
What I'm watching right now is I'm watching Yellowstone, which is really funny because I started watching it and I'm like, this isn't really good. And then all of a sudden everyone starts talking about it. I'm like, all right, I'll go watch it. And now I'm watching all of that. But my favorite TV show of all time, I don't know. Probably the classics. Seinfeld. Probably the I'd say The Wire. Probably The Wire. Yeah. I think is the greatest TV show of all time.
Nice. I gotta start Yellowstone. Everyone keeps talking about Yellowstone. I gotta start.
You stick with it. It's good. It's all right. It's all right.
It's all right.
No, it's yeah. I mean,
it's worth watching.
It's worth. There's the perfect thing. It's worth watching. It's worth spending some time to watching. I'm also a little bit of a sucker for Westerns, so I don't mind that.
Are you pumped up for anything for 2022? Anything you're excited about 2022? Besides
2021 was a real good year for me. I had my first grandchild in 2021. So no one's getting married, and hopefully there'll be no more grandchildren. So just got a brand new dog. Nice. Just got a rescue, 6-year-old Basset Hound rescue. Nice. So that's kind of exciting for our house. And for 2022, just really focusing on building my business more, getting back to what I used to do.
Awesome. Last but not least, hobbies. Anything you want to tell the people? Fishing?
Record collecting for one thing.
Nice.
I'm a huge record collector.
I can see that.
Yeah, I have a ridiculous amount of vinyl and all of that. But I also, I play instruments. I play guitar. I started to play the violin only to find out that it's really hard. I mean, it's really, really hard to just get a sound out of the thing. It's really, really hard. So I had for the first, something I always wanted to do is take guitar lessons. And last year I took, guitar lessons just to make me better.
Right.
And that was really, really good. Might join a band. I don't know if I have time, but I would something I've always wanted to do. So yeah, I mean, that's about it. Not die. That's probably my biggest goal in 2021 is to not die. So
good goal.
Any others?
I got nothing.
You survived the speed round.
I want to thank you guys so much. This has been wonderful. If anyone ever wants to do something like this, they have an amazing facility here. They have a green screen room and a video room and a YouTube room, and certainly the podcast room. So give Undefeated Media a call. They're in Wyckoff, and they're wonderful guys that have made this process incredibly easy.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. And you are a wonderful guest. Love the energy. Love the answers. You explained everything so well. So thank you so much for coming in to the studio and doing this for everybody and learning everyone at home. Brian, any questions, comments, concerns?
I guess I just want to let you guys know, if you are watching right now, on Monday, we will have Anthony DePalma in the studio. So be on the lookout for another one of these coming very soon. I know Doug has been talking with Peter Comet as well.
Yes.
So
more to come.
There is definitely more to come.
And last but not least, if you guys want to get in contact with John Monroe, the best way to do it is right here, 201-470-8112. Thank you so much, John, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And that's a wrap, guys.